What's up, my archfiends of chaos? Your king and knife, it's about EX Turk, and I just wanted to come back to, since I discovered something on my journey to the internet. I've discovered something that looks cool. Now, for PC gamers, they might actually like this, but there's actually a Final Fantasy VII sequel that was not Dirge of Cerberus or Crisis Core, and or part of the compilation. It was actually called A New Threat. They even built a novel off the New Threat, and the New Threat pretty much took the characters back to where they had to face people in their past and get stronger. I mean, it was not part of the I mean, I'm not saying that's part of the main story, but how Cloud had to face Zack, how Zongan had to face Tifa, how Lucretia had to face Vincent, pretty much, and it had some new elements to it as well, but it was pretty much a retooled version of Final Fantasy VII that was, to the fan base, was a more satisfactory Final Fantasy VII game than it's Final Fantasy VII sequel than the other games. And, hope maybe, even though it's a mod, maybe that's the direction that Nomura may go with the remake. Who knows? Because people actually like the New Threat better than the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. And to each your own, Hey, if you got an opinion about something, that's cool. It's cool. I don't judge opinions, It is what it is. But nonetheless, it's a pretty cool game. And if I have a good PC to run it, I would actually stream this game on PC, just on the fact that I don't have the sequel with me, but pretty much is a retooled version of the Final Fantasy VII PC version, but with extra bosses and stuff like that. But it's also a sequel too, so you'll be seeing some new concepts and stuff like that as well. And you'll be unlocking you have to go back and I think you have to go back and unlock all your limit breaks and your weapons and stuff like that by facing the characters. Like Vincent has to actually fight Lucretia, and Cloud has to fight Zack for their final limit breaks as well. But it's very standard, and I gotta say, it's a pretty acceptable story. Even though I'm one of those fans that love the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, even though I love the Final Fantasy VII compilation, I still get jiggy with this game, and I still get really good. It's only a PC mod that's a sequel. That's not an official sequel released by Nomura, but still, it's a pretty fun sequel. It is actually pretty fun from what I've seen in live streams and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I've stayed up watching people live stream this, especially, I don't know if you heard about Garland the Great, but I'm going to put Garland the Great's name in here. He has a picture of Hojo as his YouTube profile picture. He actually did the whole playthrough of the New Threat, and he also did I think he does everything with Final Fantasy VII, mods and stuff like that. He plays all the mods, even the remastered Final Fantasy VIII graphics version of Final Fantasy VII, modded version. So I think for a modded game, this is actually pretty standard. The story's pretty simplistic, and it still stays to the original. It does not stray from the original. Matter of fact, it adds more lore to the original, and more lore to the characters, and without having to need a full compilation to explain it. Now, characters that will not show up in the New Threat will be characters like Genesis, the WRO, Deep Ground, the Spheats, and, the compilation only characters as it is, because this is only the reason why people like the New Threat is it stick to the closer to the original game. I'm not saying the compilation did it, because the compilation was able to craft a new story while also sticking to the original as well, which did pretty well. Even the sequel Dirge of Cerberus stuck to original roots a little bit. But whether you're the compilation fan or you like the New Threat original trilogies, whether you like the original trilogy or you like the new or the compilation, or even the new trilogy Nomura's coming up with a remake, it's still pretty fun to play. I'd still give it a shot from what I've seen, because I mean, even though it's a modded game, even though it was a fan-made mod, it's still pretty worth it. It's still pretty worth it. You know, I mean, hopefully if someone like has a physical copy of it, I just have one for my collection just because I love Final Fantasy VII. And you know, 7's actually my favorite game of all the Final Fantasies from what you guys seen on my channel and from what you've seen them cosplay. So it just starts off very standard. But it's slow pacing, but if you enjoy Final Fantasy VII, you'll enjoy this a whole lot. Especially if you're the one that likes the original Final Fantasy VII without the compilation, then you probably most likely like, you know, you'll probably most likely like this new entire the new threat, because the new threat is based on the original. It's directly right after Final Fantasy VII, like a year between. Now, if you wanted to put it in the compilation, you know, included in the compilation, then it'd be at least a year. It'd be one of the 2 years before Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus. But pretty much, it's actually pretty fun, good to go. Especially if you like the classic Final Fantasy VII and the style it was made, and you want more canon and lore, and you get tired of reading novels and playing extra video games that are no longer canon. Well, then you could actually sit down, grab yourself a hard cider, and play the fuck out of a new threat. So that's my whole video about Final Fantasy VII, the new threat mod. And if you have a PC and you could do mods and you can run anything, actually you don't even need it. I don't think you really need a good PC unless you want to get the higher resolution graphics of that. Go ahead and download it. I don't know where the link is, but I'm pretty sure they have a link somewhere, or it might be on Steam. Who knows? But I'd give it a download and play it and play through it, especially if you like the original. So may the crystal be with you, and go check out Final Fantasy VII: A New Threat.